Michael, you'll have played many matches and played worse than you did in midweek and won, but you must be really pleased with the chances you created, and that must encourage you going forward to Derby.
Yeah, it does. You know, we went through the game today with the players. Thought we'd give them a day afterwards not to think too much, but addressed it coming into the Derby game. And, you know, a lot of our performance was excellent. You know, the speed of our play was very, very good. The chances we created, unfortunately, you know, we didn't take what we should have taken from the game in terms of the points. But, you know, when we concentrate on that level of performance and if we can continually get to that level and play against a team which are not, you know, easy to play against. You know, Barnsley come to disrupt you. They come to force you into mistakes and play off that. And it can be difficult. You can get dragged into a game where, you know, there's a lot of second ball. We didn't do that. We consistently played. And, you know, some of our passages of play were terrific in both halves. Some of the chances that we created were fantastic chances. And on another night, you know, you score 3 or 4 and the goalkeeper had a huge performance from them. And again, but we focus on the positives and bring that into the game tomorrow.
Well, there was obviously a talking point with Tommy Smith sending off. What's the situation regarding the red card? Have you appealed?
Yeah, we made an appeal, which was unsuccessful. So the suspension will be upheld, and obviously Tommy will miss, I think, the next 3 games is the punishment for that.
That's very disappointing. I'm sure you're as disappointed as every Stoke fan.
Yeah, it is. You know, I think it's very difficult to win an appeal now. It's quite difficult to present video evidence, which is because when it's slowed down, I think any tackle can look a little bit, you know, excessive in terms of, and that's the word which are endangering an opponent is always where, you know, the language which is used, and when the tackle is slowed down, it doesn't support Tommy's case, or didn't support Tommy's case particularly well. We felt that, like, you know, the ball's run away with him. He's not obviously lunged to make. It wasn't off the ground as such, but it was still obviously deemed it was over aggressive, and they stuck by the referee's decision. It just means, I think, that for players, they probably have to think twice now before making that tackle, and particularly the area of the pitch where it's been made, because it's not affecting us defensively. To lose someone for a red card for a tackle in the opposition half is very frustrating. We're pushing to try and win the game at that point in time, so it's totally understandable why Tommy makes the decision that he is. But maybe from that, players going forward are going to have to think about that, because clearly, these types of challenges are now being deemed as red card offences.
Will you have anybody sitting on the bench with you, or have they all been suspended too?
No, they're all in jail, so they are. So we have nothing from. We haven't heard anything from that at the minute. So we'll just, obviously, the outcome of that, we'll address that when it comes in.
Okay. Derby got a good point against West Brom, but they've had a mixed start to the season. In fact, they've won 2 in the last 22, but they give 100% effort, and they'll be looking to improve against Stoke, won't they?
Yeah, look, it's been a difficult start for them, and they had a difficult pre-season in terms of recruitment. They had to be very patient. They've got some very good players, I think, who they had under contract as well. I look at Tom Lawrence, Josiak in particular, are players that, like, Sibley as well, and Knight. They've got some very good young players as well. And then they've obviously added a little bit of experience around that as well. So, yeah, the other thing I would say is that they've been very competitive in all their games, that. So I think they probably feel a little bit hard done by, or aggrieved at some of the results maybe they've had, and felt they deserve more. And when you are in this situation that they're in, your home form is crucial, really, to help you build, and you have to build your season on your home form, really. So, that we'll expect an extremely difficult game. They'll be doing everything to try and make sure they give themselves a chance to win the game tomorrow. So we've got to be ready for that. It's, again, 3rd game in a week, which is always challenging. But as I say, we'll be ready for whatever Derby throw at us.
The team certainly showed a good reaction and great character after the sending off on Wednesday, and now you've obviously got the situation of how to readjust to replace Tommy Smith? You've got lots of options, but have the injuries situation meant that you might have to look at things differently?
Yeah, look, we don't have we brought obviously young D'Amico Dehaney in the pre-season, at the end of pre-season, and he's a good fit for there. He's still probably getting up to speed a little bit. We've obviously played Tom Ince there in the cup games as well. It's a little bit of a, I would say, a new position for Tom, but he's got the quality and the experience to play there. And there's one or two other things we can look at as well, whether we could change the shape of the team as well. So there's a number of options that we have. The injuries, in terms of Morgan Fox and Stephen Fletcher, that they're still not available. We obviously have a doubt about Joe as well, who came off with a toe injury. So we'll see how Joe is. Give him another 24 hours, and we have Nick Powell coming back and being available for us again. So that's a big plus as well.
And you had Abdullah Sima come on, not probably in the best of circumstances, because just after he came on, Stoke went down to 10 men. But he showed his ability, his mobility more than anything, and glimpses of the class he has.
Yeah, you see, like he'd only arrived the day before, so I think it shows what type of lad he is, that he was keen to be involved. When we spoke to him, did we feel he was ready to be in the squad? He very much did. I think he sees every minute on the pitch as an opportunity. Clearly, he's had a meteoric rise in the last 18 months. So he's grasped any opportunity that's been given to him, whether that's obviously with Slavia Prague to secure his move then to Brighton. He's grasped the chance to come here on loan. He's grasped the chance when he's been away with the Senegal national team to start to build his international career as well. So, yeah, we've liked the look of him in training. You're right, he's got very great mobility. He's a good size. He knows where the goal is, and I think he's going to be an exciting addition to the squad.
When you get a player like Sam Surridge, you had a host of chances, and perhaps should have had a couple of more goals. Is he the type of player who beats himself up after he's missed chances, or does he just get his head down and get on with it?
I think, look, he in another night, Sam will go home with a match ball in a game like that quite easily. But the key is, he does get chances, and I think he has demonstrated that consistently since he's come into the building. And I think players like that, they put themselves back in that position time and time again. I think some of his finishes in the game on Wednesday were of a high level. The volley at the back post he makes really good contact, and basically it just hits the goalkeeper. I don't think the goalkeeper knows very, very much about it, and goes wide. And I think he was half a yard out either side with the one that hit the goalkeeper. So yeah, he's going to keep putting himself in those positions. So I don't think he's the type of player now, I think, given the chances that he's had, that'll come into the game tomorrow and think, well, if I'm given the opportunity and the chances come my way, I'll score. And he's in a good place at this minute in time.
There seems to be a lot more time wasting against Stoke this season. That, whilst it might be frustrating for you, and also there seems to be more evidence from the other teams of stopping us getting the ball out to the wing backs. Are you looking at that as with pride because you're playing so well, or have you worked out ways to get around that?
Well, look, we always look at ways. We've focused very hard on how we build the game, keep it in the back three, and then how we penetrate the opposition from there. It's different teams do different things. Huddersfield came and sat very deep with 9, sometimes 10 men behind the ball. Barnsley came and tried to press at times. They were 6, 7 players high and pressing us. But so we've dealt with various situations that teams play. I think it is a credit to us that teams are now think, well, we need to try and find a way to stop Stoke playing. What we have to do then is concentrate more on ourselves, which is what we are doing. We believe if we can play it consistently at the level that we're capable of, that the opposition will have more to worry about. It doesn't mean that we don't look at what they do as well. Like Derby are quite interesting because they played with a 3-4-3 in their last game in a way to match West Bromwich Albion up. But up until then, they'd played with a back 4 and more I suppose, more in a way that we would expect Derby to play. So it'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. But our focus has to be on ourselves and getting to the level that we have done this season, and continuing with that, and raising the level. You know, for me, there's still room for us to improve. I think a lot of what we're doing is very, very good, but you know, we still have to push it on and make sure that we can and even lift the level of performance to a higher level again.
Lastly, from me, certainly you've got a more balanced squad now. So if you want to rotate tomorrow, you've got more ability to do that in the shape you want to play.
Yeah, we do. You're right. We have, you know, when we got together at the end of last season, we looked at, you know, the recruitment process. We probably didn't expect to get as many players out as what we did, which gave us a little bit more freedom to recruit. And the key was that we recruited with a really system in mind, and that's what we have done, and we've stuck by that. And you know, I think that's certainly helped us. So we've got good flexibility in the middle of the pitch to play with one 6 and 2 8s, or we can play with 2 6s and a 10, or you know, even play 3-4-3 as well. So we've got quite a lot of flexibility in there, and that helps us. But most important thing is, you know, I think whatever midfield we has good quality in it as well. They can all handle the ball, and that's a big plus as well. And they've all got good energy to play, which is another plus that you need as well. You know, I think like you see the impact that Romain and Mario have made in terms of competition for places as well, and you know, we have to continue to build the competition within the squad, so that when people come into the team, they recognise that the only thing that will keep them in is good performances.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ange. George, if you want to unmute and fire away.
In many ways, I suppose, Michael, you look at the amount of chances that came your way. You met a goalkeeper in good form, I suppose, and roadies look from time to time. But the fact you get in there and on occasions missing, that's a big factor, isn't it?
Well, the most important thing is to create chances in the game. You know, we always look at, there's different ways to analyse the game in terms of possession. We tend to look at it a little bit different, as opposed to just having a percentage of possession or a number of passes. We look at how many of the opposition defenders we bypass, for want of a better word, and the number was very, very high in the game on Wednesday night. It was actually the highest we'd had this season, and it means that you know, we're doing a lot right. When you get to that, when that number's high, typically you'll create more opportunities and more chances. So look, we're disappointed we didn't win the game with the chances we created, but the most important thing is exactly what you say, is that we are creating them, and we take the positive and take that forward into the game tomorrow, and hopefully do the same again. It's equally more difficult to create chances away from home, but we look at, you know, for example, our performance in Swansea. You know, I think the only game probably this season where we've not created that many chances was Birmingham away, and that was the nature of that game as much as anything else. So we've got to be, as I say, away from home, we've got to be as potent as we are at home.
You've been very complimentary about the hand that Wayne Rooney has been dealt at Derby, and obviously they could be facing a points deduction. It looks if they are going to face that. So they will possibly have the siege mentality at every game in many ways, Michael, won't they?
I think they have to, you know, certainly. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation about the points deduction, which would put them in a difficult position. I think if you're going to get it, you're better knowing as early as you can, and so that at least you can address it. But yeah, I think look, they've had a difficult period at the club. You know, it's a terrific football club, Derby, great stadium. So you know, we will not underestimate them because of what's going on around it, really. But you know, our focus has to be on ourselves. And you're exactly right. You know, they signed the players they signed in the summer. Were not signed on long-term contracts, so they'll be desperate to stay at a club like Derby. And you know, that'll lead to, I think, you know, a very competitive team. And as I've said previously, that's what I think they've been competitive in every game they've played this season. They just, you know, have you know, come out on the wrong side of some very you know, narrow defeats.
You've done your research on them. Do you expect to see them play any differently at home than what they did at the Hawthorns against West Brom? obviously they go there in mind to get points, but do you see them setting up differently at home?
I think there's a real possibility of that, but equally, you know, they've had a really positive result against one of the promotion favourites away from home. They may look at that and think, you know, that system suits. Sometimes, you know, you can do that and you see a lot of positives, and not just the result, but you see a lot of positives in the system. And so we've got to be ready for either. You know, obviously up until now they've played consistently with a back four until they played midweek. So we've looked at both options, and we deal with that consistently anyway. You know, we've dealt with playing against back fours and back threes as in the season already. We know, you know, what different each system, the difficulties that it presents, and how teams can get out, how we have to press teams in a different way depending on what system they play, and equally how we try to get out and build the game as well. So the players are well versed in dealing with that. So whatever Derby choose to do, we'll be ready for that.
You go to Derby on the back of two good results in a way. I suppose the win would have been nice on Wednesday, but you do go there with two good performances and certainly possibility of extending the run.
Yeah, look, it's I said, you know, the league is about putting good runs together, momentum. You see already in the league, it's difficult to win, you know, consistently in a way where, you know, where you win 5, 6, 7 games in a row. I think that proves difficult for any team in the league. So the key is obviously that, you know, we have an opportunity in a 3-game week to with 7 points return, which is very healthy. If you consistently do that over the season, you're going to end up in a good place. So that's the way we have to address it. That's why I spoke to the players. We obviously have 7 days before we'll play again in the league. We have a cup fixture to negotiate, but all our focus will be on making sure that we do everything possible to get 7 points from this week.